Happy Thursday. Listen, I want to encourage you once again as we're talking about shame on this week. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit, or encourage you, I should say, about feeling naked. Do you know that shame can make you feel naked before people, where you feel totally uncovered and exposed? When shame dwells within you, it is like a pit that is full of darkness, that when you've done something wrong, or when people have put you on Front Street and expose your weaknesses, or something personal and private about you, the enemy will allow that spirit of shame to rise up upon you, to make you feel less than, to make you feel defective. But I come to let you know that there are two people that were born way before we were, that were created, I should say, way before we were, and that was Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve was created authentically, knowing who they were, who they belonged to, why they were created, and why they were placed in the garden. Were created knowing who they were called to love and who they were called to serve. But because of the enemy, just like he's done you and I, he deceived them into believing that if they ate the fruit from the tree, that their eyes would become open and have all wisdom in all things, like God Almighty himself. Little did they know that he was seeking after their downfall. So because they ate of the fruit, now the fall of man is taking place. Their nakedness has been shown. But do you know that the good thing about that was that when God created them, he created them naked with no clothes. There was no reason for them to be ashamed of who they were and what they were doing. They had no desire, no need of knowing that they needed to be covered up. It wasn't until the enemy came and compelled them and drew them and seduced them to eat the fruit of the tree, where they recognized that they were naked and needed to be covered up. Listen, the same thing the enemy is still doing to the people in this world in this day and time today. He's taken what God meant to be normal within you, and he's tainted it and covered it in shame and darkness, in pity, in deceit, in manipulation. These things that he uses to draw you away from the light of Christ, that you may dwell eternally in his darkness. But listen, there is a light on the inside of you, a light that the enemy doesn't want you to see or to know. There's a light that God is just waiting for you to open up your heart and invite him in, so that he can blast through the darkness, destroy and abolish the spirit of shame that has gripped you for the majority of your life, if not half of it. Listen, there is a plan that God has for you. His plan is authentic. His plan is unfailing. And you know what else? His plan is unfolding. If you would be willing to submit and surrender that shame and those feelings, oh God, those emotions that you have been dealing with and warring with for so many years. We serve a God that is standing by you and waiting for you to open your mouth and just invite him to come in and destroy these things that have kept you bound. The spirit of shame and regret will sure enough keep you bound. But you know what? It's not your fault, because the enemy knows that he can use those things that we don't know and we don't see. So as I encourage you today, once again, concerning shame, I want you to know that Jesus Christ has already carried your shame for you. He carried it to the cross. He hung, bled, and died, and it died on the cross with him. So what shame is not really real. It's a shadow that he hovers over you to keep you in bondage. But I declare and decree on today that somebody listening under the sound of my voice is going to come from up under that spirit of shame.